Whoa, what's going on, everyone? I've got a lot of smiles here from these three guys because they're absolutely crushing it with the eBay to Amazon space. It's a little bit different than what I do, even though I do some buying books on eBay and selling them on Amazon. These guys don't necessarily do very many books. They may do some books, but I'm joined with Josiah, Nagel, and also Aaron Worley, both guys who are seven-figure eBay to Amazon sellers. Steve, I'm not sure. Are you there as well, or you're getting close? I know that.
No, I'm not. I'm at about like 700 the last
Okay.
365 days. So I'm trying to get to these guys' levels. So we'll see if they inspire me today.
Both of these guys are also going to be speakers at Books and Beyond in Las Vegas, October 10th through 12th. So if you haven't grabbed tickets, make sure you grab tickets because it's coming right around the corner. I know that Aaron was there last year as an attendee, this year coming as a speaker. Josiah, you weren't there last year, but I'm excited for the connections you're going to make. But I'm talking too much. What's going on, Josiah and Aaron?
Hey. It's great to be here. Thanks for the invite, Joji. I'm excited for the conference. It was a great time last year. Great networking, meeting some people I've only seen online, and it was a great fun to hang out. And looking forward to some of the after hours stuff. Like I don't want to release too much, but I know you got some stuff, some fun stuff planned, Joji.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, definitely the after parties are going to be a lot of fun, and also a lot of where the networking and the business, right, the business talk happens. So I'm excited for that. What's up, Josiah?
Yeah, hey, good to be here. Thanks for inviting me to hop on. Thanks for the invite to the conference. I'm excited. I've been to a couple Amazon-related gatherings now, and every time I found it's been worth my time. Even if, some of the topics don't directly relate to me and they're more like shiny candy, tempting me to change my business model every time. I always benefit from meeting up with guys like, all four of you, or three of you, four of us total. And the little conversations, after or between speakers and things like that. And some of the relationships that I've made through that, like that's, I don't know, kind of how I connected with Steve years ago. And then Aaron about 2 years ago, I guess we linked up. Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys are seasoned veterans at this point, right? How long have both of you been selling?
I started in 3 years.
You go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'm right at 3 years. So started in the book space and DVDs and moved to E2A.
Yeah. I started with the thrifting books in 2020.
That's crazy. Isn't it crazy how almost everyone, no matter what they end up with, they start with books. So even if they don't stay in books, it's just like books is the easiest entry point, right? I mean,
well, it's the best. I mean, that's how I started too. Books. Yeah. I mean, and books is still a fantastic niche. I mean, you're making a full-time income. You quit your job as a chemistry teacher and you're just flipping books now. So yeah, man, we all love books. Books and beyond, baby.
Yeah. I know definitely every like, even though I'm still in the book space, you guys, still have evolved from how I started. And obviously you guys have evolved a lot over to eBay to Amazon. So what was both of your guys' start? We'll start with Josiah first, but what was your first entry point into like, okay, let's actually see if this is viable, eBay to Amazon?
Yeah. So kind of my quick story. In 2019, I was preparing to leave the Army, looking for other options, decided corporate life wasn't for me. That would have some of the same stuff I didn't like about the Army. Started looking into what businesses could I start, and somehow ended up in the YouTube space with guys like Steve and Avery and Caleb Roth, and that really piqued my mind. I happened to accidentally open an Amazon sellers account when I was in college. I was just trying to, squeeze a couple dollars out of my textbooks. So that was back in maybe 2013 or 14. Wow. And I was like, oh yeah, like, okay, these guys are making full-time living selling just books. Like, okay. I kind of had that proof of concept because I had like sold 3 textbooks, years before. So I really dove in, consumed probably like everything that Steve put on YouTube up to that date. And really grew from that and explored it as a full-time or at least like a part-time hustle for when I got out of the Army. And came into 2020 and some of my other business plans didn't pan out because of what COVID did to tourism mainly. So jumped full into Amazon. and really put the pedal down on the books and got that to kind of the maximum level I felt I could, and started exploring retail arbitrage. And then really I discovered eBay to Amazon as an option because I found some really good retail arbitrage stuff that sold really good. I made really good money, and I was like, there's got to be a way to get more of this. So I'd Google search that stuff, those products, and they're usually discontinued clearance items. And I kept finding my way back to eBay. Like, oh, I can get more of these on eBay. And so that's where I kind of wetted my feet with sourcing from eBay, and it just kind of grew from there. And to this point, probably in about 2021, I committed to like, that's my main business model, my main sourcing method. And it's been really good ever since. You know, there's been ups and downs, some days where IP complaints got a little out of control because I was being reckless, but I'm on the straight and narrow now.
Very good. Aaron, did you find it similarly by like just happenstance? You kind of stumbled upon it as well, or how was your experience different?
I was looking for a side hustle. I'm in the National Guard, also in the Army, and looking for something to do while on some active duty orders. And came across Steve on some TikTok or something like that, and was like, man, this could be interesting. So yes, got into books and did it for a few months and realized I was spending a lot of time out of the house. And for me, I needed to do a little bit quicker turnover and be able to buy stuff into my house. So got online. Steve released his E2A course and went full in from there. And it's been phenomenal. And then after about 6-7 months, hired my first VA and started delegating. And then my second one came around. Then my third one, after literally within probably the first 2 months, I had 3. And then now I'm up to 5. Got my own manager, got 4 of them working under her. And now I'm just living the dream.
That's crazy, guys. Would you guys say that most of your growth is attributed to virtual assistants? Because I think, Josiah, you have virtual assistants as well, right?
Yeah, I actually only have 1 for my Amazon business, but I have 5 for my other business. It definitely is a great way to leverage your time, and it's been a huge benefit. And I've always been like, oh, I should get more, and then I'm just probably laziness is holding me back.
And then, so Aaron, so you really ramped up fast with how many virtual assistants you had, because I think this is the cool thing. And so a lot of people maybe who are booksellers are watching this like, all right, these guys do eBay to Amazon. Maybe it doesn't necessarily relate to me, but a lot of the business principles like hiring virtual assistants and managing a team, like that's going to apply across the board no matter what you do. So if you are somebody who's coming to Books and Beyond, the way that I will look at it is if I were attending, it's like, wow, these guys have figured out a system that they're using in a different part of selling that I could still, implement into book selling. So I think that's really cool.
My question is, though, it's like people always say that, like, I'm a bookseller, like eBay to Amazon, like that doesn't have anything to do with me. Like, what do you mean? There's millions and millions of books that you can buy on eBay and flip on Amazon, and hundreds of people do it. So, there's a lot of different ways to make money on Amazon, but it all comes down to sourcing products, whether that's from a thrift store, a library sale, from eBay to Amazon. So I'm not here to convince anybody to do eBay to Amazon. I think you should do what you're comfortable with and what you enjoy, but there are millions of books on eBay, and I can promise you there are hundreds of thousands of them that are priced significantly less than what they're selling for on Amazon. So I'll just say that.
Yeah, exactly. What has been either of your experiences with eBay to Amazon book flipping? Have either of you tried that out? Because obviously I know it's not the main part of your business, if you do it at all, but have you had any experience with that?
No, I haven't. I don't think I've done any books or media from eBay. Kind of when I stopped doing local book stuff, I just quit with that category. In fact, I'm gated in like CDs and DVDs, and I know that's an easy ungate, but I don't know. I don't want to do it. So
yeah. And Aaron, you don't do it as well, right?
I don't do it right now. I think I did right when I started doing E2A. I think I did a few books, but quickly transitioned to other sources or to other categories.
So I'm curious why you guys decided not to do books, because I know for example, for me, I don't do books just because I'm mostly all new, and my new stuff just sells so freaking fast, where a lot of books, you can sell books and buy them and flip them within a couple of weeks. But a lot of the books that I used to target, they're more seasonal. You're sitting on these things for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And I just want my money to turn. So I'm curious why you guys decided not to do books, or why you focus on, I know Josiah, you're heavy into like electronics and different things like that. Aaron, I know what you sell because you and I are on all the same listings. So
I learned from the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I transitioned from books. I was trying to think about this the other day, why I actually transitioned. And I think I started doing a little bit of retail arbitrage, and that kind of really got me into the other categories outside of books. And I think I just enjoyed it a little bit more. Books was fun. I will say the hunt, going to thrift stores. And I tell people the story a little bit is my mom is in antiques. And so when I started doing this, I was like, why do I enjoy this much? It's in my blood, literally.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of fun going to thrift stores, but online, I just got transitioned to just doing all online so quickly. And the books, like Steve said, for me, just didn't, the inventory just didn't flip as quickly as I wanted to. Could I do both? Yeah, definitely. And I've even thought about doing that just because there is seasons like Joji, there's seasons for books. Yep. Some of these books do sell all year long, but if you really pay attention to those seasons, they still do really well.
Yeah. Right now we're in textbook season in August, and I would say August is like Christmas for me. That's my favorite time of year because that's when things are going crazy. I'm not doing any, numbers near anywhere along you guys, but one question I have is, it seems like, and not just not specifically to eBay, Amazon, but definitely like when you watch a lot of the content related to like traditional online arbitrage, or even retail arbitrage for that matter, like a lot of emphasis is put on the revenue, because there are actually a lot of people in the space who do put up crazy revenue numbers. So what's the balance between like, just always aiming for getting more revenue versus like sitting down and realizing like, okay, it's not always the revenue that really ultimately matters. It's like, well, what am I actually netting? Like, what's the profit I'm making? Like, just how do you think about that?
Yeah, great question, Joji, and something that a lot of people skip over. The flashy YouTube thumbnail with 7-figure something or other, and let's not talk about how much profit I actually took home. Those are the videos that get the views, Yeah. Those are the TikToks that get the clicks and sell courses, right, Steve?
No, it's so true, dude. Yeah. No, it's honestly. People nowadays, they don't want the truth. They want to be sold a dream. You sell them a dream, they buy your course. You show them your seller board. When I show my seller board, I have no sales. You made 6 figures on 700,000. What a joke.
Yeah. And like, that's not impressive at all to I don't know, like the average YouTube viewer that's never going to start a business, I guess. Joji, you asked me earlier if I'm like where my numbers are at, and they were at 7 figures, and that made me think, like, what did we actually do the last couple of years? So 2023 we did around 1.2 million revenue.
Okay.
2024 I decided to shift things around a little bit and try to really squeeze our ROI out.
Okay.
So we actually only did 800 something thousand revenue, right. But we had the same, like within a couple $1,000s, the same amount of profit in 2024 right. as we did in 23. So our revenue went down significantly by about 400 grand.
Yeah.
But our profit take home about the same. So that really has been something that I've focused on the last couple of years. In enabling us to be able to take more out of the business, have less invested in our inventory, and really squeeze those profit margins. And this year we're probably similar margins as to last year. Cool. Just really have ramped up the revenue. I think that kind of speaks to your question there.
Yeah, Aaron, what's your thoughts?
Sorry, say the question again, Joji.
So basically everyone right, on YouTube and social media is interested in the revenue, but you could have huge revenue numbers and not really make any money.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I could sell $300,000 in books, which to a lot of people may not seem very impressive, but on 300,000 in revenue, I make $100,000 profit. So like the thing is, like, how do you think about always trying to just shoot for higher and higher revenue numbers, realizing that's not necessarily profit? Like, how do you balance the two?
It is difficult. And so I have really started diving into my numbers recently, and it is a lot easier to see when something's going wrong when you do know your numbers. I'll be honest, this last week, 2 weeks has been rough for me. Well, I switched repricers recently, and the parameters were not set the same. And realizing that this morning, actually, and it has not been a great week, but it is what it is. You start diving into your numbers since you know them, and you really trying to figure out what's wrong. And we're hoping to get that fixed as soon as possible. But that's why it's important to know your numbers. The big numbers. I mean, I'll be over 7 figures by the end of the year, and it is awesome, and I will have the best profit. But is there always room for improvement? Definitely. I wish I was like Josiah and be able to sell less and still make the same. But that's because he knows his numbers. He knows his systems, and he knows what he's doing, really.
This is a good book if anyone has ever heard of it, Profit First. I'd recommend reading it. No matter what level of entrepreneur you are, there's people who could benefit from this who do multiple millions of dollars, and people who just start a business who could do well. So Profit First. How crazy would it be, Steve, if we could get the author to like send us 20 books to give away for free at Books and Beyond? I'm gonna email him. Mike, see what he says.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Now, in addition to what you were talking about, I'm curious, guys, how do you know your numbers? How do you track your numbers? Because it's easy to say, and I used to hear this all the time, you got to know your numbers. What does that mean, right? Is there a software that you're using? Are you doing a monthly cash on cash profit loss statement? Or do you have a scorecard that's tracking week to week with certain KPIs? So what does that mean to you? And I think there's no one size fits all. Everybody has to have their own little system. So maybe Josiah, if you want to start, how do you know your numbers? Or is it how much money's in my bank account? Like 99% of people.
The number gets bigger, so I'm making money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually how I started the first year. I was like, I know we're making money because the bank account's growing, but
until taxes.
I had no idea. Well, yeah. I was like, I'm not going to pay taxes. That's not a worry. We'll figure that out in April. I started out really rough, and then there was a steep learning curve trying to set up good systems. And ultimately today, what's been working well for us and the way we do business is I use Inventory Labs for tracking all the cost of goods sold and other Amazon fees and such. And then QuickBooks connected to my bank account to capture all the external transactions. And I don't really know how either of those softwares work, to be honest. And I have a bookkeeper that runs the reports every month for me. They send me a spreadsheet, and they say, we think we categorized all these transactions correct. Please review real quick. And there's usually like 5 or 10 that I need to adjust. Like, no, that's not me buying inventory. That's another business meal. I know there were a lot this month. And then they pull those reports for me, and I can see, month over month, like, oh, this expense really went up in June. Why is that? And it's like, oh, all of our annual software subscriptions hit in June for some reason. That's why we spent twice as much. Or, I can see how much we're spending on our prep center each month, and other things like that. And that's worked really well. And I like having a monthly snapshot. And then they also help me. I think I just did it in June. In June, kind of double check. This is what the system says we have as far as cost of goods on hand. Is that accurate? Because stuff disappears and slips through the cracks. Whether it's my prep center or my vendors through eBay didn't send me what they said they would, or probably in most cases Amazon, I lost it, or I don't know, stepped on it, or let the customer have it for free. And overall that's my system, and it's worked really well.
Cool.
Yeah, that's funny that you mentioned, things go missing, because the other day I ran an experiment and I looked at how many items I purchased for the year on eBay that got shipped to my prep center, Little Owl Prep. And then I track week to week, like how many items they're shipping. So I added it all up and I looked at like how many items I purchased, and it was like 99.8%. I was like in shock, because I was like, I didn't really have a good system to reconcile that. I'm like, I wonder how many hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars I'm throwing away. But yeah, that's interesting. So Aaron, how about you, man? I know you're good with numbers. I already know Joji's got like 15 spreadsheets, so I'm not even going to ask him. He's the spreadsheet king.
I know.
What about you, Aaron?
Be like Joji. I've seen some of his spreadsheets before. They're crazy. Yeah, I'm a lot of the same as Josiah. As I get the monthly report from my bookkeeper. I use Cellaboard a little bit. I always wish there was whatever I can dream up in my head. I wish there was a system. I'm sure there is, or I should just probably create one like you, Steve, and Joji. You just kind of create your own programs there. But yeah, just scrubbing that sheet every month, looking at the cost of goods, using the E2A master sheet helps out quite a bit for lost goods. And I wish I knew my daily numbers better. Steve, I know you released this your KPIs recently, and I thought that was phenomenal. That may be something I institute with my VA soon, because there are some daily numbers I still get. Our spend, of course, every day, and our sales, but get them nailed down for daily instead of just having them every couple of weeks or so would be great.
Yeah. A lot of people coming to this conference, and even a lot of people watching right now, we'll do books, or we'll do a lot of going to garage sales, library sales, thrift stores, like as a means to get most of their products. And I would bet the reason for that is it's the easiest way to get started in terms of you don't need much capital, right? But obviously, even though we all started in that way, finding stuff, sourcing locally, we've all transitioned. And so my question is, like, for somebody who's watching this right now and they haven't done any sort of online arbitrage, right? Like you both have transitioned for a reason, right? Ultimately, what is the reason why you're like, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to go out thrifting. I don't want to find I want to transition to online. And what might be some steps for somebody who hasn't done anything yet to actually just try it, see if it works? Is that good? We'll go with Josiah first, I guess.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, great question. And I think that's something that I struggled with as a beginner, as a new seller. And what I've arrived to with a few years of experience is there's two big variables at play: your time and your capital available. And most people, when they're starting out, have more time than capital. So I think they should start with exactly what you were talking about, Joji, hitting the thrift stores, the garage sales, free pickups, and getting that sweat equity into the business and stretching that $10 as far as they can. And at some point, you're going to get overwhelmed and run out of time. And hopefully that matches up with you having a little bit more money. Yeah. And then you can switch to things that are maybe more similar to online arbitrage, where you can leverage that money a little bit more. You're going to get a lower ROI. That's just going to happen, because if you're buying from Amazon like Joji, or eBay like us, or a traditional online arbitrage, everybody in the world can see those, versus if you're going to a garage sale, I don't know how many people go to a garage sale, 20, 50 people in a morning, if it's a cool neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so there's just more competition, and so the prices are going to be different. But ultimately, that's kind of the trajectory my business followed. I didn't realize that's what I was doing, but looking back, it's like, oh yeah, that actually worked out really well. And once I got past the books, I got into retail arbitrage, where margins were a little smaller, but I could get more product with one stop, and some of that stuff would sell a little quicker. And then I felt kind of like I peaked there, and then I moved into online options using prep centers.
Yeah. Aaron, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's all about your how much you want to take risks, to be honest. But I agree with Josiah about taking it slow. You've got to be able to leverage your capital, leverage your time into those bigger risks. And I'd say I'm a pretty big risk taker, and I probably progressed a little bit quicker than I should have.
Yeah.
Applied a little too much money on those credit cards, but I'm as long as you pay them off every month, you're still good. But yeah, I went a little too quickly, and always learning. Wherever you are, wherever you think you need to be, you look to the bigger sellers. I mean, I looked at Steve and was like, man, I want to get to where he is. And I just kept learning from him. And that's where I am today.
Yeah, well said. And the way that I kind of think about it is, you both made great points. Specifically, Josiah, I think of an analogy as like the crabs in the hermit shells, right? It's like when you go out thrifting, like your money can only go so far, right? There's only so many places with the time you have. It's like you're in this smaller shell, but eventually it's like you'll have so much cash. Like even if you have imagine this, once you have $1,000 or $2,000 of available cash, like you can't even go spend that very easily to go to thrift stores or library sales, right? And so now all of a sudden you have to figure out a way to spend that money elsewhere. And I think going back to both what Aaron and Josiah said earlier is like the easiest way to get started, I think, with online arbitrage is to flip or try to go buy something you've already flipped. So like Josiah said, he found this thing out in the wild. He flipped it on Amazon. Okay, can I go find that exact item online? And I think that's a great way because you have data to prove that the thing sells. And so it's maybe a little less risky, but would you guys agree that's maybe an idea to get started?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're going to thrift stores and library sales and you're selling books or DVDs, and you sell a book for $60 or $70 or a textbook, it passes books run, it's good. Go on Amazon.com, look at the merchants and see if there's one available for $9. You'll be shocked. Sometimes there's books that are $40, $50, and for some reason, some silly goose just lists it for $8 on Amazon. And then the eBay sellers will follow, and then the whole market drops. And guess what? Maybe the Amazon listing drops down to 30 because everyone's chasing it. But guess what? As Joji says, the true intrinsic value is at 60 or 70, and eventually they sell out. It goes back up. So start looking at the items you've sold in the past and look at them not as just sales, but as replens. Go replenish it. Go look on. I used to buy board games before I got into E2A. I was replenishing everything I sold from the thrift store on Facebook Marketplace. I would go on Facebook Marketplace. I would even go on sometimes like Etsy and replenish a board game. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. So many opportunities.
Let's transition to prep centers because I think there's major hurdles for people that want to get to where you guys are. The first hurdle is just this idea that you could buy something online and sell it online. That's already very difficult from the majority of people. So I think we just touched on that with the previous question and your responses. But the next part of it is, well, when you buy the stuff online, do you ship it to your house? Do you ship it to a prep center? So what was your sort of mindset behind letting go of the control? And how has your experience both been with prep centers? So we'll go with Aaron this time first.
Mine's been a little crazy, to be honest, with prep centers. I've been through a few different ones, and I think Josiah probably has some stories too. But the reason I initially got into it was delegation. I wanted to get all those products out of my house. Now, did my kids have fun opening those boxes every day? It was like Christmas every day. Yeah, they loved it. But you'll hear a little bit more of this story later. But my family, we decided to go travel to the U.S. in an RV. And so I kind of was forced to get a prep center. I was leaning towards getting one, and then I really had to get one. But yeah, my first one didn't work out. Second one didn't work out. Third one didn't work out. I'm pretty sure I'm on my fourth one now, all within about 18 months. And of course, there's stories about every one of them. But it's learning every time. What can I do different with this prep center than I did the next one, and those questions to ask. Because you got to know what kind of business you want to run and what kind of business you want them to be, how you want them to act, how you want the prep center to process your stuff before you ever really know to get to the next one and get a better one.
Yeah. What about you, Josiah?
Yeah, I pursued a prep center as out of necessity, kind of like Aaron. So I live in Alaska. So it's just like would be a stupid business move for me to order stuff online to my house to then ship it out of state again. And that said, I still do it sometimes. and the mail system can be terribly slow up here. Like when I was doing books that I was sourcing locally, I'd ship them all media mail to a FBA warehouse on the West Coast, and because media mail was the cheapest option.
Yeah.
I can't get the Amazon partnership rates, etc. And they'd put it on a barge. And it would be on a barge going from Alaska to Washington for like 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
how am I going to scale this business? I've got like a 4-week lead time from me getting the book in my hand at the thrift store to it even being available for someone to buy. And so there, I realized there were some limitations there geographically because of where I am. And I think like Aaron, I've had, I don't know how many prep centers that they all started out really good. And they were maybe good for at least 3 months, maybe 6 months. And then something went terribly wrong and it was horrible. There's, one famous one that everybody knows of. And I think a recurring theme with the ones that have gone poorly for me and I had to cut ties and leave is there's smaller like mom and pop prep centers where you can get more personalized attention and it can be really good. But when those go bad, they go really bad. Like one lady I was working with, she had like a divorce and messy family stuff, and her workers quit, and their personal lives are tied into this. And I also saw a lot of those smaller mom and pop places have trouble saying no to new clients. And so they overwhelm themselves with more work than they're capable of. They have good intentions, they have great goals and desires, but the reality of what they're capable of doesn't match up. And also, every time I've shared the name of my prep center with other people, that prep center immediately tanks in quality. So I'm not going to tell you where I'm at now because it's been pretty good for, I don't know, 2 years at least now.
Good.
I'd say I'm at a little bit bigger one that has a more commercial feel. I don't really know how many clients and how big their operation is. I don't get the same personalized feel, but I get consistency.
That's what matters. That's what you need: consistency and longevity, right? I know that Josiah has to go here shortly, but I did want to show everyone here who's watching where both of these guys, including Steve and myself, where we're going to be in October 10th through 12th, Las Vegas, Nevada, the Books and Beyond Conference. This is a real video. I'd go and watch this video of the conference last year. We've got tons of people who give testimonials. It was really just an amazing time. Let's see, is Aaron here? I think Aaron is not up here, but for a testimonial, but plenty of sponsors that are coming that, it's just really going to be a great time. And if you go to the speaker list here, you will see that we have both of these guys right up here. So we've got Josiah right here. And I think, let's see, we got Aaron right there. So you guys can learn even a little bit more about them. But again, it's just going to be an awesome time. It's in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street. Just going to be an awesome time. So again, October 10th through 12th, definitely consider coming because I think, building relationships in person is by far easier than doing it online. So this will be a lot of fun.
I'm pumped. Big shout out to Tiffany. She just got her ticket today. I just saw it come through. So,
Nice.
She's out of Texas. She's just starting her book journey, and then she's going to be doing, I think, E2A or A2A. I told her in about 6 months. I said, don't just jump right into it. Get started. Yeah. So, Tiffany, if you're watching, I saw you grab your ticket. So, I'm pumped up for it. I'm really excited. But Josiah, I know you got some personal stuff going on, so I don't want to hold you if you have to jump off. I know you have to get off, man. But thanks for coming on, brother.
Yep, appreciate you, man.
Thanks for letting me join. Always great chatting with you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all in the conference. It's gonna be a good time.
Josiah's coming all the way from Alaska, guys. So come on,
let's
you guys
go.
You can't say Vegas is too far.
Yeah,
I'll be there before you.
Yeah, awesome. See you later, bro.
Take care, man.
Yeah, so we got Caleb who's gonna show up. Says he can't wait to go. Caleb was there last year. So I think that the cool thing is that we have a lot of people who came last year that are coming back, which shows that people actually really enjoyed it and they got a lot of value out of it. And this is one thing that I was reflecting on, Aaron and Steve, as well, is like even though this is ultimately for business, to grow your business, to build your network, to make connections, at the end of the day, it's just freaking fun. Like, I remember that weekend was just like, it's so cool to be around people who actually understand what you do. In my day-to-day life, I tell people what I do, and they're just like, wait, so people read books still? Or like, wow, you can sell stuff online. It's like everyone is so oblivious, like, I think, in my day-to-day life. But when you go to this event, it's so concentrated. Everyone there's like, oh yeah, I sell 600,000. Okay, oh cool. Okay, let's talk. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I'm curious. This is a question for Aaron and Joji. You guys, like, how many of your like friends and family members know what a keep a chart is?
Yeah, nobody.
Well, I've got one, Steve, kind of like you. You know, you got your mom selling. I got my father-in-law selling, and he's actually coming to the conference.
Oh, that's right. That is right. That is right. I remember we've been talking back and forth. Yep.
And have him learn a little bit more. But yeah, I'm excited for that.
So tell me about his journey, because I actually got my mom. She's been selling books and doing thrifting for about 10 years, but our thrift stores have gotten really rough. Just, you know, a lot of people just kind of hanging around the thrift store all day and just beating her out. So I got her working with some of my VAs, doing some replay kitchen sourcing the last 2 months. Her sales have already doubled. Her ASP's already doubled. Of course, doesn't mean she's in the green because you're spending a lot of money up front. So there's a little cash flow issues in the beginning. But how's your what'd you say? It was your stepfather?
Father-in-law, Mike.
Father-in-law.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So Mike is, I got him started. God, man, it's been, I think, about a year ago, just thrifting. Started watching some videos on YouTube, and I think he may have even joined the E2A masterclass or something like that. And so he learned a lot from you guys on those videos, a lot from the other coaches on there. And he's had some health problems, so it kind of kept him from keeping a 9 to 5. And so this has been perfect for him. Just spending some time out thrift stores. He is looking to maybe doing some E2A, possibly starting that this fall or maybe right after the conference. But it's been great for him to be able to go out that and to be able to share with him how to start this fun adventure that it is.
Yeah. I would say when I talk about it, Steve, there are a lot of people who are interested in it after I tell them about it. But as you know, most people are like, oh, that sounds great, I'll try it out. And then I'll be like, okay, here's free access to the masterclass that I produce. And then they're like, but the thing is, like, when you give away stuff for free, people devalue it. Like, people don't understand the value that's there. So I think almost like me doing that is probably not a good thing. But one thing that I will say for you, Steve, is I want to see the new version of Mama Profits on Instagram. Because whenever I'm on Instagram, I always see the reels of my mom's 65 years old walking out with textbooks, making. I want to see her like over here, like 3 monitors, like like making a bunch of money. I think that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, man. No, I'm excited. Hey, one thing I wanted to say as well is the kind of like the opposite of what you were saying, how like you don't want to give people like stuff away for free. Aaron was the complete opposite. Like this guy, and I'm not just saying it to like obviously show my appreciation for him being here. I would say this behind his back. This guy, Aaron, man, like he invested in pretty much every program I put out. He did not just invest in it. He would show up to all the calls, almost to a point where it was slightly annoying, but I loved it because that's how you got to be. Like, you have to be annoying in this world. If you want to get someone's attention, you got to ask your questions. Like Amanda. There's nobody more annoying than Amanda. We love Amanda. Her and I always joke. She's like, I annoyed you so much. And I was like, yes. And that's why you were successful. This guy showed up to like every coaching call back when I had different programs. He went through everything. Did you go through the Virtual Assistant Academy too? I wouldn't be surprised.
I did. One of my favorite ones.
Yeah, that's funny.
But this is why he was successful.
Yeah. Me and Amanda kind of grew up on some of your programs. We've been connected for a long time, and yeah, I love those programs. Now, I don't get them on too much because I just get tired of hearing Steve talk. But back in the day, great.
I don't blame you.
But yeah, I learned so much from those, and hopefully we'll get some of those updated because those were such good programs, honestly, to help me grow, just to get me started. You kind of get a base idea, especially the Virtual Assistant Academy, how to hire, what kind of questions to start out with. But I will say with this, you kind of got to make it your own. You can't always rely on these big programs that Steve or Joji releases or anybody else in the market. You kind of have to rely on yourself to kind of make it your own, because you're not going to work the same way as someone right next to you or across the US or in a different country. You guys just aren't going to work the same. So you got to make it your own. And that's really why I think I've grown so much in hiring these VAs is I know my VAs, I don't do the same things as you do, Steve. But it works for me. It works for my VAs. And I ask them all the time. I say, hey, would you rather do this or this? And I give them the option. Now, Steve, you can probably talk into this too, is they always won't always tell you the truth. They won't always tell you exactly what they want. So that's I found I have a manager that kind of filters the information, and she does great. So that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, I loved all your stuff you put out, Steve. I wouldn't be here without some of the programs you've had.
Yeah. And to say that, as much as I appreciate it, it's not me. It's anybody you decide to follow. Find one or two people, whether it's Joji or somebody else or Victor or Avery, whatever, and just, follow what they're doing. But like Aaron said, don't follow it to a T. Maybe take a little from this person, a little from that, and put your own spin on it. But at the end of the day, Joji, right? It's hard work, right? The folks who are using BookMind, the people who have gone through the E2A masterclass, the 3 out of 10 that are still standing are really successful. Those are the ones who they didn't give up. They probably showed up to all your calls. They studied, they made mistakes. I mean, it's not a get rich quick scheme or anything. I remember plenty of times talking to Aaron where he was struggling, cash flow. I remember being on the road and you were just devastated with the prep center issues. And I was like, why did you just not use Little Owl Prep? Like I said, I still don't know why you didn't use them, but maybe you're like, what, screw this guy and all his programs. I'm making my own way. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Joji? No,
I agree. I think there's a lot to say about the type of person you are, right? I think it is rare to be an entrepreneur, and it is a rare trait to be someone who wants to invest in yourself as well, right? Because a lot of people do consume free content on YouTube, but at the end of the day, right, I think there's a lot of value you can extract from doing paid courses, and that's not what the point of this is. But I guess my thoughts is if you're somebody who's really serious about this, like going to Books and Beyond, for example, is an environment where everyone there is serious. Like the people who are coming to Books and Beyond are not just people who are dipping their toes in. These are people running real businesses, Steve and Aaron and Josiah, who's just here. These are people, this isn't just chump change. This is money that they're making to support themselves and their family, right? And so the cool thing is that if you're somebody who's motivated to build a life like that and you're serious, then this is the perfect place for you. But at the same time, I also want to let you know that, even if you can't make it, maybe not this year, it's okay, right? There'll be more events in the future as well. And certainly if you're somebody who is motivated, you're gonna get the job done at the end of the day, right? So
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he's pretty much saying if you don't show up to Books and Beyond, you're dead to us. Don't join the calls, don't comment, don't ask how things are going. It's just I used to know you.
Yeah, I would tell you this: if you go to Books and Beyond, you will not only have an amazing time, but you also be able to be in a room with individuals that are serious about what they do, which is what you need if you want to scale. And so we have Sean in the chat here still standing. Yeah, someone saying I'm almost out of paid time off, so I won't be able to make it. That's okay. We'll have it next year as well. But yeah, save some of that paid time off for next year so you can make it, because it's definitely a good time in a great location as well. So I'm really excited about it.
Hey, Aaron, I wanted to ask you, are there maybe a couple things you can share that you've done differently, maybe this year in 2025 compared to maybe 2024, 2023? One big thing that I did is I raised my ROI. I dove into, I noticed my return rate was going up because I was moving into new categories and stuff. I got the prep center and my return rate went up. I don't know if it was because of the prep center or the product selection, but I knew I had to raise my ROI. That was one big change I made. Is there anything that you've done, maybe managing your team or product selection or keeping your account healthy, something that you're proud of this year compared to maybe the last few?
Yeah, a couple different things. One is raising my ASP, their average sales price. I was for the longest time sitting there at about, it was mid 80s or something like that, and slowly creeping up to 90, but I'm over $100 for average sales price, which which helps in a couple different ways. One, you're not having to buy as much, especially if you have a prep center. They're not having to prep as many items, so you're saving costs there. But then you got to look at it. You're not selling as many items. So maybe if you're shipping them to your house, you don't have a prep center, then you don't have as many items in your box to ship for FBA. And then you can have maybe a lower cost repricer because you don't have as much inventory. For that though, you've got to have things that maybe flip a little faster. So I started going away from some things that, like you mentioned, Steve, some higher return rate items. And I'll just say it, modems and routers. Some people do great with those. I didn't. I had a lot.
Me neither.
So I decided to go away from those, and that definitely helped. And so it's just the slow tinkering. I wouldn't say, other than ASP, there wasn't really a huge change because you're always looking at what's the next thing, though. Like I mentioned earlier, my repricer. I had to change repricers. One of them just wasn't working quite as well, and I probably sat on it for too long. But I heard someone.
Can you share who you're using?
Aura. I'm using Aura.
Oh, Joji, didn't you make the move too?
Yeah,
I made the move to Aura at Miami Sellers Conference. I've been using them. They'd be great. I'm trying to get them to be a sponsor.
that'd be great.
I'm trying to bring them.
Yeah, I will say they're very quick at responding to questions.
Yeah.
I was on there this morning, I had a quick question, and they were able to dive into it within about 10 minutes and have me an answer. So the other one, I think maybe I'm not sure if it was out of the country or not. It just started bogging down a lot. And so Aura, however you say it, is really quick. But you always got to tinker with those things.
It's a good question. The tinkering. How do you approach products in your store now? Like trying to dive into new products versus going back to what works with the replens. Like, do you have a sort of strategy with like, okay, a certain amount of money I'm going to try to start, spending on newer products versus, hey, let's just put the money into what already works?
I think I'm split kind of even. I've got one of my VAs that does just pure replens off the replens that I have, my replens list, which I use Replen Catcher.
Boom, baby.
And then my other two, they kind of bounce back and forth between some replens, but they mostly will just new items. Off of Replen Catcher, just off the feed off there. And I think that for me, that's worked the best. But again, it took me a while to get there. I didn't have a replens list for the longest time. And I'd always hear Steve and other people talk about it so much. You got to have a replens list. And I was like, what is the point? I'm still selling. I'm still doing good. But you got to listen to some people out there that maybe know more than you. And once I started getting that replens list up, things started clicking a lot more. My IPI got better because I was able to get those replenishables up and get the I forgot what even category they have in there, the excess inventory, and then whatever other thing you have that it helps your IPI. And anytime you get your metrics and Amazon up, it can only help you out in the long run.
Yeah. So let me ask you real quick. So you're sourcing with Replen Catcher. I know you mentioned some numbers. Are you sourcing most of it from the Replen area? Because Replen Catcher has a feature where you can source from just your replens. And then there's like the live feed. It's kind of like the thrift store. It's all like everybody's attacking the same stuff. What split are your virtual assistants going after? Do you know that?
I honestly don't know the number. I'd have to ask my VAs on that one. But I know I'm using both. I just don't know what the percentage is on that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think what's interesting is you can learn a lot from big box stores, going back to the finding new items to sell versus replens. Like, I don't know why this is, guys, but whenever you walk into Walmart, it's like, oh, wow, so they're carrying Coca-Cola. Okay. So they got Doritos there too. It's almost kind of like they know what's going to sell, and they're using past historical data to figure out what they should supply. And it's almost like, wow, so, it's getting close to October. Wow, Walmart already has a display of like Halloween candy out. Like, how did they know that was going to happen, right? It's like when you take a step back and you think about these like bigger picture things, it makes a lot of sense, right? But like there's a lot to learn even from big box retail stores, even though we're not that. But the idea of like, hey, a lot of businesses are very successful because they sell the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. So much of selling, in my opinion, is just finding stuff that works and doing it again and again and again and again. And of course, The only way you will find those is if you also spend some time and money experimenting into other things, which of course any big box retail store like Walmart would do. But I'm gonna take a wild bet, guys, that 10 years from now you're gonna be able to find Coca-Cola in a Walmart. That's just my guess.
Yeah, one thing
go ahead.
No, you go first, Aaron. You're the
All right.
guest.
I was going to say, speaking of Walmart, I mean, I know Amanda's speaking on Walmart at the conference.
Yeah.
It was the next, I don't know if it's the next big thing, but the Walmart market, I've started on it recently, started some eBay to Walmart. It's a little bit of a slower thing to kind of get in there, learn how to navigate the Walmart Seller Central, navigate what you can and can't sell. But I'm looking forward to growing my Walmart and maybe hearing Amanda speak on that at the conference.
Yeah.
Dude, we might have to get like a little Walmart panel going, because I have a feeling like after Amanda speaks, a lot of people are going to be excited about that. So maybe we'll get a little panel with Aaron and Walmart, maybe get them in the corner, see how many people. It's cool at the Books and Beyond. We do little panels. So like in the corner of the room, we have one like panel on like, Book Mine or Amazon and Amazon Flips. Another one's like all about Keepa. Another one was like virtual assistants. I remember there was a ton of people who came to our panel about that. But yeah, it's cool with Books and Beyond. We talk about everything.
Yeah, it's a good segue, because someone who's like thinking about Books and Beyond, what should they expect? So I guess up until this point, I haven't really said that. It's a good idea to kind of go over. It is a 3-day event. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday is what Friday night, there's going to be a free networking event. This is just before the conference. Everyone gets to come hang out, have a drink, maybe 2, not more than that, because you still need to be fresh and prepared for Saturday and Sunday. And then Saturday, we're going to have the first half of the speakers in the morning up until lunch. And then after lunch, there will be a catered lunch on Saturday. And what did you guys think of the food last year? Was it pretty good?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I think some people enjoyed it more than others. There's always more room. There's always more food for everyone. The cookies, I remember the cookies were sitting around. That was a good little afternoon snack.
Yeah. So Saturday, day 1 of the conference, there will be actual catered lunch that comes as part of the general admission ticket. So you will get that. And the cool thing, which Steve was referencing, after lunch is when we have these really cool breakout sessions. And this year we're going to do it a little bit differently, where every session or every round, we call them rounds, is going to be 3 separate things that you can go to. One might be a Q&A, one might be like a workshop, and then one might be like another live presentation. So the idea is that we're wanting to give people who come to the conference the ability to kind of see everything from the speakers and see the different types of book selling, the different type of eBay to Amazon, like the different ways of selling, but then super niche down and focus in the workshop section in the afternoon, so that they can focus on bulk books, so they can focus on eBay to Amazon. They can focus on what they want with the people who are focused on that, and get, more tailored advice and more personalized help, if that makes sense. So
absolutely.
This is a good question. Pete says, how come I don't hear about people selling on eBay ever? I hear about Walmart's a new thing. eBay is tried and true. Well, I will say there's a bunch of people who sell on eBay. I think there is a lot of content out there about people selling on eBay. I think it's just that, I don't know about you guys, but when I go to eBay and I go to Amazon, I would say in more cases than not, and usually disproportionate amount of cases, the thing on eBay, the same thing on eBay is less than the thing on Amazon. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to work a job. That's the thing. No, you knew I was gonna have a smart ass response. No, eBay's great. It's just, I think there's so many amazing teachers. Like if you go on YouTube, there's so much content, really, really good content about eBay. Like millions of people. With Amazon, especially book selling and stuff, there's like 5 or 6 people, maybe 10 or 15 channels, maybe more. But it's like, that's what we try to focus on. Like we could talk about, Etsy and Poshmark, but there's only so much time. And we want to give you the information that I feel like is maybe harder to come across. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. He says that Amazon is his main course of income. I use eBay as an outlet for books that I can't sell. Yeah, which a lot of people do. I do that sometimes as well. Yeah, it's funny. I want someone to be at the conference that says, I do all Amazon to eBay. Imagine how crazy that would just blow everyone's mind. Amazon to eBay? Yeah, it's crazy, right? Yeah, I actually make negative margins on that, but
no, but dude, I'm at 1.2 million revenue and I'm selling all my courses. Doesn't matter if I'm not profitable.
So I buy it on Amazon for 32, flip it on eBay for 27. And at the end of the day, that's kind of
You want to hear something funny? So recently I did a deal with my friend Vinny. He used to come on my channel. We call him the Toy Master. He sells, all he does is sell on eBay. Well, anyways, I got tons of returns. We did a deal that was multiple thousands of dollars where he bought all my returns because I didn't want to list on eBay. I'm busy with my own stuff and replaying catcher. So he bought all of my like damaged goods, returns, things I couldn't sell back on Amazon. Right. So I told my team, do not buy from Quick Flips. Okay. This is my friend. Like I bought these items for $100 and I'm liquidating him for like $5-7. Well, my team, they must have ignored my message. My buddy Vinny messaged me. He's like, Steve, your team just spent like $700 in my store. So like, that's my new masterclass coming out, how to buy something for 100, liquidate it for 6, and then buy it for 75 again.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. That is crazy. We have someone saying, don't forget the free shipping on eBay. You can also offer free shipping on Amazon as well, just so you know. So you can offer free shipping on both. But yeah, I just want to say, guys, I'm pumped for Books and Beyond. At this point, I'm thinking about it on the day-to-day as well as Steve, only because we're the ones that are co-organizing and planning it, right? It's a lot of work, obviously alongside Victor Gallegos and also Avery Martin. So it's a ton of work to put on, and it really is for the community, right? If Steve and I and Victor and Avery wanted to do something to make money, we would not do this. I've told everyone, this is the most work I've ever done in my life to not make money. So I'm just letting you know, this isn't like some cash grab. This is really to grow the community. It's really to help other people out there. And selfishly for me as well, it's so that I can grow my network as well. I can meet other individuals, but it's really just an amazing time if you have the opportunity. And again, it's in Vegas, guys, right? We could have picked some other boring place. Like I won't name other places because I don't want them
Oklahoma.
It's Vegas, right? So we picked it.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Yeah. Oklahoma's great.
I'm just laughing at the mastermind we did in the middle of nowhere. Remember?
Hey, you guys invited me to that as well. Unfortunately,
yeah.
Was it a good time?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, we had Josiah, Aaron, a bunch of people there. Nice pool, Ben, everybody. But it was just in the middle of nowhere.
Right? It really was. It was outside of a bigger town. I won't say what town it was. There was like no service, and so everyone was trying to connect to the Wi-Fi. And it was fun though. It was a good time. I mean, we kind of were disconnected, and so away from the world. And it was a lot of fun.
All right, guys. Well, we're getting to the end there. Again, last thing I just want to say is thank you to you, Aaron. You will be a speaker at Books Beyond. Also, thanks to Josiah. If you weren't able to hear Josiah, he was here for the first half of this, so you can go back and watch the recording. But these two guys are going to be there. They're going to be speakers at Books and Beyond. Not only will you be able to listen to them talk, they will also be on some panels where you can ask them more specific questions in a setting revolved around the niche that you're in. But then also, if you go to the after parties, definitely grab the after party tickets because that's a great time to have a one-on-one with Aaron, a one-on-one with Josiah, and just to pick their brain. Both those guys are more than willing to share information, except for Josiah, I guess, doesn't want to share his prep center. But other than that, I'm pretty sure they're willing to I'll say this. I'm pretty sure they're more likely to give you very valuable information if you're in person, right? So,
and drinks are involved.
Yeah, exactly. And drinks.
Yeah, you buy Aaron drinks, you can get his replens list. I'm telling you, I grew my business last year when I saw him because you get a couple drinks, couple cranberry vodkas. He's just sharing the best of the best. So.
Yeah. And also for those, I have had a couple people message me saying they're not party people. We're joking. It's not like some crazy party. It's like you get a couple of drinks and it's really just a good time. It's more for networking and more for just building community. So it's not like everyone there is drinking a bunch and, it's not like that by any means. It's just a good time. So
absolutely.
Yeah. It's not the crazy Vegas stories you always hear about. We're a little more chill, but still have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good time. We definitely have a good time. That's for sure. So I'm going to go and put the link down. It's linked in the description of this YouTube video. It's also in the comments section if you're here live, but those are tickets to Books and Beyond. It's a little over a month away, guys, and it's just going to be a good time. So, lastly, Aaron, thanks so much for coming on. Steve, Aaron, any parting words?
Thank
you. Get to Vegas. Let's have a good time. Love to meet everyone.
All right. Sounds good, guys.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right, head on. Peace.